Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our masterclass. My name is Praveen, and I will be your host and presenter for today's session. So, today the presentation we got for you is leverage contextual integrations to go beyond traditional PAM. The scenario is going to be sensitive IT resources and their privileged credentials or better protected when every functional aspect of an organization's IT infrastructure can be supervised from a unified platform. This is particularly true for PAM in today's modern IT landscape, as contextual integrations with IT service management or identity and access management solutions facilitate advanced monitoring of privileged access requirements that originate from different points within an organization. So this is what we have got planned for you today. I think the session might go for 25 to 30 minutes, followed by Q&A session. So any questions you get during the course of the webinar, please raise them in the chat panel and I will answer them towards the end of the session. So for today, the agenda is going to be first, I will start it by discussing about the ticketing system integration, where Password Manager Pro comes with the facility to integrate with a wide range of ticketing system to automatically validate service requests related to privileged access. The integration ensures only users with a valid ticket ID can access the authorized privileged passwords. This integration also extends to the Password Manager Pro workflow, which helps in granting approval to password access request upon automatic validation of corresponding service request in the ticketing system. Then about audit and notifications. As Password Manager Pro deals with sensitive passwords, it is important to have a complete record of who accessed what resource and when, along with the trials about every single action performed by the users within the application. All operations performed by the users are audited along with a timestamp and the IP address from where they access this application. Also, Password Manager Pro facilitates raising SNMP traps or sending syslog messages to your SIAM tools on the occurrence of various password actions and audit events. So we will discuss about that in the SIAM integration, followed by the integrations with other ManageEngine products, where the scope and benefits of the integration differ based on the product integrated and its functionality. Still, the basic idea behind the integration is to manage shared sensitive information such as account credentials, passwords, etc. in a more secure way. Lastly, Password Manager Pro helps eliminate embedded credentials in DevOps pipeline by providing integration capabilities with various CI/CD platforms. So this is going to be the agenda for today's session. Now let's discuss about the ticketing system. So when you integrate Password Manager Pro with any enterprise ticketing system, users will be required to enter a valid ticket ID for password retrieval or reset, and Password Manager Pro will check for the few validating or few validation will be done by the Password Manager Pro before giving the access. For example, we validate the ticket ID entered by the user exists in the ticketing system. So that's the first one. And then we verify the incident connected to this ticket is not in a closed state. And then verify whether the user is authorized to view the password and thereby access that particular resource. Also, we verify for the appropriate permission in case of password reset attempts. Right. So this is how we validate. So these are few examples on how we validate with the ticketing system. Right. In addition to the above verification, to the specified verification, Password Manager Pro also lets you define custom criterias and validate them with the ticketing system before granting access to the passwords. So the entire process is completely audited, which means Privilege actions can be traced using the ticket IDs, and password access can be traced using the ticket numbers in the ticketing system. All right. So Password Manager Pro readily integrates with ManageEngine ServiceDesk Plus On Demand, ServiceDesk Plus MSP, ServiceDesk Plus. So the other ticketing system tools available with ManageEngine. Apart from that, we also integrate with ServiceNow and JIRA Service Desk. So these are the readily available products which can be integrated. Apart from these ticketing systems, if you have any other ticketing system, you can also integrate that with our Password Manager Pro by implementing your own class. So I will explain you about that in detail. Right. So now let's quickly jump into the Password Manager Pro product and let's see how this can be achieved. So you can come to the admin tab, and in the admin tab, you can click on the ticketing system under the integrations. All right. And this tool I have already enabled with the Service Desk Plus MSP. Service Desk Plus. So of all these ticketing system, okay, this integration is achieved by leveraging the RESTful API provided by the respective ticketing systems, right? So if you want to just configure any one of the ticketing system, first you will provide the technician key. This is nothing but a technician who has access to the RESTful API functionality in the ticketing system. He will have a key associated for it. So he has to provide that key followed by the URL of the ticketing system. So once this has been done, all right, you can just come here and click on the test configuration setup, where you have to provide a valid ticket ID, and you can click on test, which will fetch the details of that particular ticket and it will show you. Just in case if you provide a invalid ticket ID, okay, and when you click on test, it will say invalid request ID or the ticket ID. Okay, so this is the first thing. Once you get a proper result, it means your ticketing system is good to go. Right. Once this has been done, the next thing is configuring how the ticket has to be validated, right? So if you come to this advanced configuration, I've just assigned a simple criteria here stating the status of the ticket is not closed. So we will check whether the ticket ID is valid and the status is not closed. Apart from that, you can also make any one of your fields in the ticketing system. For example, the requester is only from a particular person. If only he requested, it has to be validated. Or you can also ensure the priority level, right? So you can give the priority should be high, low, medium. So you can have your own criteria defined and release the tickets based on that. Apart from that, if you have any other criteria which you would like to specify, then you can create your own implementation class. Okay, so with this implementation class, you can also derive more complex criteria and tell Password Manager Pro only if it matches this criteria, release the ticket ID to that particular, release the passwords to that particular user. Okay, or allow the user to reset the password once it matches this criteria. So that can be defined by you by creating your own class as well. So in our help guide, we have given detailed information on how this implementation class can be done. So these are the readily available ticketing systems which can be integrated, as I mentioned you earlier. So if you have any other ticketing system apart from this, you can also very well get it integrated once again by creating a custom implementation class. And the other criteria for that would be your ticketing system should also support the RESTful API functionality in order for this to work. So the two things, one is the RESTful API. The next one is going to be creating your own implementation class, using which you can make use of the password request release mechanism, or you can release the passwords or reset the passwords based by validating a proper ticket ID or request ID on your ticketing system. Right. So this is about the ticketing system integration, what we have got for you. So the next one is going to be about the audits. Okay. So as I mentioned you earlier, in Password Manager Pro, we have an option where each and every action performed inside this tool can be audited. All right, and you can also have a complete history of who has accessed what resource and when, along with the audit trials about every single action performed by this user within the Password Manager Pro application. Right, so here the audits are basically divided into four important things. Resource audit, which will explain you about all the operations which are related to the passwords. User audit, like user logging inside the tool, logging out of the tool, he's been added to a group, removed from a group, all those information about user accessing this tool. And the next one is going to be the task audit. So basically, if you have any task which is being scheduled inside the Password Manager Pro, like database backup, Active Directory sync, etc., that will also get audited and stored as an event. And the last one is user session, which will give you a basic idea of who are the users actively accessing this application, from where they are doing it, and what are the recent audits which are being performed by them. Okay, so these are the various audit types, and let me jump into the product again and show you how this can be achieved. So here you can see the audits, and audits, we capture them on the primary server. And if in case you have configured high availability inside Password Manager Pro, we also capture the secondary audit events happening on the secondary server. All right, so it has been well differentiated between the primary and the secondary server. And on the resource audit, these are the various operation types. Okay, it's going to be very huge, so you can just have a look at it. You can click on the operation types over here to know what are the various audit events which we collect at the password level, right? And the same way, user audit, you can see all the audit events here, and you can see what are the various audit events or the operation types which we capture at the user level. And task audits. Okay, the last one is going to be the user sessions. So it will show you who are the actively logged in users and what they are doing. Okay, so the recent audit events which are being performed by them. Now, coming back to the audit, all right, you can see every audit event will record the name of the server, the account which is being used, and who operated it, from where he operated it, and the timestamp, and what is the operation type. All the possible information will be recorded over here, right? And if you are retrieving any passwords using Password Manager Pro with the help of the ticketing system, right? Let me quickly show you. I'm just trying to retrieve one of the passwords over here, and I have to provide a valid ticket ID and click on proceed. So once I have retrieved this with the valid ticket ID, when I come to the audits, I will be able to see that as an audit event captured, and my ticket ID will be available in my audit event. All right, and the same way, if I try to reset a particular password from this tool, all right, I have to provide a valid ticket ID here for 192. So only then I will be allowed to change the password. If in case I'm just trying to change the password again, and I'm trying to provide a invalid ticket ID here. Okay, so, and if I try to save it, it will say the ticket ID is invalid. All right, once again, whether it's a valid ticket ID or whether it's an invalid ticket ID, everything will be audited and stored as an event here, and it will say password change dropped because the provided ticket ID is invalid. All right, so this is about the audit events. And we do not purge any of the audit events. We completely maintain them. Just in case if you want to purge them, you can click on the audit actions, and you can specify the number of days after which it has to be purged, right? And the next one is going to be about the audit filters. Okay, so audit filter is basically if you want any particular audit event which is performed inside the Password Manager Pro to be track, or if you want only a particular audit event. So we have few predefined events here, like password change. If I click on it, it will only display you all the audit events of the passwords getting changed. Apart from that, you can also create your own filters, okay, by giving something like password retrieved, or password change failed, or change dropped. Okay, so I'm just going to provide here something called as test, and I can create a criteria here where I can specify it for a particular resource name, or if I want it for a particular operation type, right? I can just specify that here, account added, save, and based on that, all right, I will be able to create my own filters and narrow down only a particular operation type here. This is not only for the operation type. As I mentioned you can have whatever criteria created based on your request. Even if you're using a ticketing system, you can just use the ticket ID and you will be able to narrow down your search based on that. Okay, so whatever ticket ID which has 192, only those informations will be retrieved over here. So this is more about the audit filters, all right? And the next one is going to be about the notifications and the SIEM integration. In Password Manager Pro, as I mentioned you earlier, each and every action performed inside this tool is going to be audited and stored as an audit event, right? And all these audit events can also be sent as a real-time email notification or as a daily digest. Apart from that, if you have any SIEM tools, like for example, ManageEngine Log 360 or Event Log Analyzer, okay, so they have the capability of taking syslog messages from a different application. So here, Password Manager Pro will act like, or it will send you the syslog messages to your SIEM tools, and it can be captured on that particular tool for you to have a comprehensive tool where you can have all your audit information stored. So this is from ManageEngine. If you use Splunk or any other tools, SIEM tools, you can also integrate it with them. So on the product, let me show you where this functionality is. So you have to go to the resource audit or user audit, click on audit actions, configure resource audit, right? And here you will be able to see all the various operation types. You can simply select on send email, and you can provide the recipients over here whether they should get the event as and when they occur, which is a real-time notification, or you can also get them as a daily digest, so a single report with all the audit events happened on that particular day. All right, so those events will be sent to the recipients mentioned over here. Apart from that, as I told you, if you have any SIEM tools, you can also either send a SNMP trap from the Password Manager Pro. We basically send SNMP V2C traps from this tool, right? And the next one is about the syslogs, where we send an RFC 3164 compliance syslog messages from this tool, and that will be sent to any SIM tools as like ManageEngine Log 360, Event Log Analyzer, or Splunk, and any other tools which you are using. Okay, so this is about the audits and notifications, and the next one is going to be the ManageEngine integrations. So Password Manager Pro offers robust native integrations with industry-leading apps from ManageEngine to manage the sensitive, shared sensitive information such as account credentials, password, etc. So the integration, the ManageEngine integration actually provides you the need for your password users to spend much time bungling with login screens and allows them to concentrate on what really matters. So it eliminates the need to manually update and maintain the credentials individually in each ManageEngine product, as Password Manager Pro exclusively takes care of performing the periodic password rotation of all such credentials and updating them in the native products. So the scope and benefits of the integration differ based on the product which is getting integrated and its functionality. The basic idea behind the integration is to manage shared sensitive information such as account credentials, password, etc., from a single product and in a secured way. All right. With that being said, the very first integration is going to be the Service Desk Plus, where the technicians in the Service Desk Plus often need to access the target machines manually to resolve issues, which involves security-related challenges like sharing the sensitive passwords for authentication to those machines, especially while using the privileged accounts. Sharing the passwords in the clear text is not um, it's not a better way of doing it, right? So they also have the pain of jumping between the machines to perform different tasks. So with this integration, accessing the remote system from the service desk portal is just a click away from the technicians. So administrator can now provide the advantage of secure access to the target machines only to the authorized technicians without sharing the credentials and clear text. So the technicians can remotely access the target endpoints from the service desk portal without having to log into each machine every or without logging into Password Manager Pro each time to fetch the credentials. Right. So let's look into the Service Desk Plus product, where exactly it is and how exactly it works. Okay. So we once again make use of the RESTful API for this. Okay, so you should have a technician created in the Service Desk Plus with the REST privileges, and the same technician should also be present inside the Password Manager Pro. So once that has been done on the Password Manager Pro web console, okay, you have to just come to the admin tab, um, ME integrations, and you can enable this. All right, so I have already enabled it. Now let me just go to the Service Desk Plus interface. So when I go to this, I can click on request. On any request which I have, I can simply click on the subject and custom actions, PMP resources. From here, I will be allowed to take the remote desktop to that target machine. So I have to provide the reason and click on connect. It will automatically log into that particular machine inside from the service desk portal. So this way, I need not copy paste my credentials, or I need not log into Password Manager Pro separately in order to copy those administrative credentials and paste it in the service desk place. So this can be completely automated. Okay, you can allow users to take RDP, SSH, and Telnet sessions from the Service Desk portal without revealing any of the passwords in clear text to them. Okay, so this is about the Service Desk Plus integration. So the next thing is going to be the next topic is going to be again on the ManageEngine integrations, and the other one is going to be AD Self-Service Plus. Okay, so with AD Self-Service Plus, the Active Directory Self-Service Plus assist the domain users in performing activities such as self-service password reset, self-service account unlock, etc. So here, Active Directory Self-Service Plus, in order to perform the actions like password resets or account unlocks, it needs the privileged account, okay, in order to perform those operations, right? So so what you can do is, with the Password Manager Pro AD Self-Service integration, you can have that privileged account password stored inside Password Manager Pro securely, all right, and you can retrieve it whenever you want, or in other words, this domain credential will be stored inside the Password Manager Pro, and of course, it's a best practice to rotate this domain credentials very frequently, right? So when Password Manager Pro resets the passwords of those privileged domain accounts, those credentials are not only updated on our Password Manager Pro. Apart from that, it will also connect automatically to the AD Self-Service Plus with the RESTful API, and then it will update the credentials over there as well. So this way, you're eliminating the need for hard coding the passwords inside the AD Self-Service Plus application. So whenever a password is being rotated, it will be automatically pushed inside Active Directory Self-Service Plus. So on the UI, it's the same thing. You have to come here, enable this functionality where you will provide the AD Self-Service Plus details like the server name, the port, the username, and the password. Once it's done, the integration will be automated using the RESTful API, and that admin credential, the privileged domain credential, which is stored inside the Password Manager Pro, whenever it's rotated, it will be automatically updated to this AD Self-Service Plus. All right, and the last integration is going to be on the Analytics Plus from ManageEngine. So Password Manager Pro integrates with the Analytics Plus, an on-premise reporting and business intelligent software. So this integration brings about out-of-box analytics using data from our audit events. Okay, so using the advanced analytics on these models, you will gain a comprehensive analysis of all your privileged account activities through a unified outlook, with the ability to drill down into specific and gain actionable insights on what you need. So here I will just show you example of one such integration. So I have integrated with the Analytics Plus, all right, and I have created a dashboard for anomaly detection. So here I using the audit events of Password Manager Pro, I have created a dashboard which will tell me what are the non-business hour operations which are performed inside the Password Manager Pro application. So that is going to be password verification, and uh, and if in case you have like a particular resource used in Password Manager Pro during the non-business hours, that is going to be shown here, and who is the user who is doing it, right? So it will give you a complete dashboard. Apart from that, I can also narrow down, or I can drill down into specific actions what I need on a particular user or an account. I can narrow down it as per my requirements, and I will be able to list only on those particular servers and see what has exactly happened on that during the non-business hours. So this is one report which shows abnormal user activities in Password Manager Pro, and I have called this dashboard as anomaly detection. So another dashboard which has been created by me is Password Insights, which gives you a overview of the password compliance, expiry, and synchronization status. Once again, this is a complete dashboard of from the audit events. I can also narrow down it based on an account or a resource according to my needs. Okay, so that brings to an end of the ME integration. So the next or the very last integration is the CI/CD platform integration. So which is nothing but continuous integration and continuous delivery. Okay, so these are the automation tools that help organization automate their configuration management through the pipelines to run routine tasks without human supervisions. Right, execution of these tasks often requires sensitive information like privileged passwords, API keys, and access tokens to the interface with other systems and applications. So in most DevOps environments, such credentials are stored in plain text within script files to enable smooth task execution. But storing it in script files can definitely lead to a major security issues, right? So to mitigate such risk, Password Manager Pro helps eliminate embedded credentials in the DevOps pipeline by providing integration with capabilities like CI/CD tools like Jenkins, Ansible, Chef, Puppet, etc. So this integration ensures that the required credentials are retrieved securely from Password Manager Pro vault every time a particular task is getting executed, instead of being stored in a plain text within the script files, right? So here, this integration will be available in admin integration CI/CD platform, right? So once you enable any particular integration, once again we make use of the RESTful API to do it. So you have to provide a auth token and the username from the Jenkins or the Ansible or Chef Puppet applications. Once it's been provided, okay, whenever your automation tools, so basically these tools will have a automation activity, like for example, you have one single DevOps application where you will be able to create your codes, compile it, and you will be able to test it. You can also do an automation testing. All this can be done. Okay, so that's a complete DevOps environment. So these kind of tools, whenever they create a code or whenever they do automation testing, they might need credentials in order to connect to the target applications and perform whatever actions they need to. So those credentials are hard coded inside these applications, which is not a security best practice. So with the integration of Password Manager Pro, you can have these passwords stored inside Password Manager Pro, and whenever these applications need those access of the credentials, they will automatically go ahead and retrieve it programmatically using the API. Once it's been retrieved, your task is going to be completely automated, and you're also going to mitigate the risk of having the passwords hard coded in the config files. Right? Fine. So yeah, that's about the contextual. I mean, so this is all about what we have for today. Okay, where using Password Manager Pro, you will be able to leverage the contextual integrations to go beyond the traditional PAM. All right. So this brings me to the final mandatory slide, the question slide. So feel free to shoot your questions and I will answer them. All right. So I don't see any questions. I hope the entire session was useful for everyone and gave you some insights on how to make use of Password Manager Pro and to leverage the contextual integrations to go beyond the traditional PAM. Okay, so once again, thanks for joining today's session in your busy schedule. All right, and thank you so much. Have a great day ahead, and you've been a wonderful audience. Thank you. Bye.